Hey folks, I hope you all are doing well. Nelson here. I just wanted to comment briefly on what happened to Ted Cruz and his wife being shouted out the restaurant and the incredible hypocrisy of the left in this hashtag #MeToo movement. It is what it is. Let's go.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
Breakthrough Media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see what happened to Ted Cruz at that restaurant last night? Here, just very quickly, Ted Cruz and his wife were sitting at a restaurant. They were having, a nice dinner, and then a bunch of mainstream Democrats came in and behaved as mainstream Democrats are behaving in 2018.
We believe survivors! We believe survivors! We believe survivors! We believe survivors! Beto is way hotter than you do! We believe survivors! We believe survivors! We believe survivors!
God bless you,
Excuse me, let my wife through.
We believe survivors!
We believe survivors, except for Karen Monahan and Juanita Broderick and all the others, if they were abused by Democrats. But we believe random people who come out of the woodwork when Brett Kavanaugh, a virgin until after high school, is up for the Supreme Court. That was too long, so they had to change it to We Believe Survivors. But they don't believe... Oh my gosh. I wish I could say that these were wacko lefty lunatics. It's not. They're not. They're not. All of these, this was the top trend on Twitter yesterday. We believe survivors. None of these women, by the way, have accused anyone of rape. Not even like the wackiest accusations have involved rape. But that's what they say. We believe so. We believe so. Okay. So they chase him out of this restaurant. And there's this guy on Twitter. He's a transgender activist named Charlotte Clymer, who said, he tweeted out, he said, well, Beto O'Rourke has never gotten chased out of a restaurant. Yeah, because his opponents aren't hysterical children like the Democrats are. Right, we don't do that. I'm very proud to say we don't do that.
Democrats, they don't want to confirm Judge Kavanaugh. They never wanted him to be confirmed. We saw how they acted during the hearings. We see how they're acting now. Now, this is why every American has a right to be skeptical tonight. We know the Democratic Party. We know their track record on claims of sexual misconduct. It is beyond suspect. Now, take, for example, right now, not 36 years ago, Congressman Keith Ellison, he is the deputy chair, number 2 guy of the Democratic Party. In August, a month ago, his ex-girlfriend went public with claims that Keith Ellison, Congressman Ellison, physically abused her on multiple occasions, including one instance where she claims he violently dragged her through the house screaming, "Bleep, get out of my house." Now, despite these allegations, recently, a month ago, Ellison goes on to easily win the party's nomination to be the next Minnesota Attorney General. Now, think about this. She claims he physically and mentally abused her over and over again. And guess what? Prominent Democrats line up in support, believe Kavanaugh's accuser. You're hard-pressed to find any Democrats standing behind Ellison's ex-girlfriend. That proves it's politics. I don't hear from Kirsten Gillibrand, haven't heard from Kamala Harris, haven't heard from Adam Shifty Schiff, virtually nobody. That means this is political. But there's more. Ellison's ex-girlfriend, she just tweeted that the entire Democratic Party, they wouldn't take her claims seriously, despite even a doctor's report indicating this abuse happened. Instead, she had to tweet out. The DNC smeared, threatened, and isolated her. And the DNC chairman, Tom Perez, well, he said that he's still proud that he made Ellison the deputy DNC chair. Do you not see the hypocrisy and double standard? So the DNC, Ellison, we've called them, they refuse to answer our repeated attempts for comment. Another Democrat that exposes the blatant double standard, he walks the halls of Congress. Look at him. There's Sherrod Brown of Ohio. Now take a look at this new political ad. It details the abuse allegations against him. by his then wife. These are all court records. Take a listen.
Now, Senator Sherrod Brown is facing his own Me Too movement from his past. These court records show sworn evidence that Brown's ex-wife accused him of abusing her. She said Brown assaulted her. A judge had to issue a restraining order. Later, she said Brown violated the court order, pushing, shoving, and bullying her. Brown claims it's a family matter, but his ex-wife, like other victims, has a right to be believed. This senator had to resign when evidence emerged he mistreated women. Why is Senator Brown different?
Sorry, saying hi to people. So where are the Democrats? This is serious. Lining up against, I just got this thrown to me, by the way. Lining up against Senator Brown. This is a serious topic. Where are they? Now, without refuting any of those horrible claims, even his wife is supporting him politically, but that's up to her. But those court papers remain. Then you got Senator Cory Booker, Spartacus himself.
Are you aware that at 9:23 on the night of July the 9th, the day you were nominated to the Supreme Court by President Trump, Senator Schumer said, 23 minutes after your nomination, I will oppose Judge Kavanaugh's nomination with everything I have. I have a bipartisan, and I hope a bipartisan majority will do the same. The stakes are simply too high for anything less. Well, if you weren't aware of it, you are now. Did you meet with Senator Dianne Feinstein on August 20th?
I did meet with Senator Feinstein.
Did you know that her staff had already recommended a lawyer to Dr. Ford?
I did not know that.
Did you know that her and her staff had this allegations for over 20 days?
I did not know that at the time.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that, not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsay said hello, because I voted for them. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell wouldn't have done what you've done to this guy. Are you a gang rapist?
No.
I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham, that you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process. You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend. Do you consider this a job interview?
The advice and consent role is like a job interview.
You consider that you've been through a job interview?
I've been through a process of advice and consent under the Constitution. Which
would you say you've been through hell?
I've been through hell and then some.
This is not a job interview.
Yeah.
This is hell. This is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. Your high school yearbook. You have interacted with professional women all your life, not one accusation. You're supposed to be Bill Cosby when you're a junior and senior in high school. And all of a sudden you got over it. It's been my understanding that if you drug women and rape them for 2 years in high school, you probably don't stop. Here's my understanding. If you lived a good life, people would recognize it, like the American Bar Association has the gold standard. His integrity is absolutely unquestioned. He is the very circumspect in his personal conduct, harbors no biases or prejudices. He's entirely ethical, is a really decent person. He is warm, friendly, unassuming. He's the nicest person. The ABA. The one thing I can tell you, you should be proud of. Ashley, you should be proud of this, that you raised a daughter who had the good character to pray for Dr. Ford. To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics. You want this seat? I hope you never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's exactly where you should be. And I hope that the American people will see through this charade. And I wish you well, and I intend to vote for you, and I hope everybody who's fair-minded will.
Boom. Yeah.
Gearing up clearly for a presidential run for the Democratic Party. 1992, he actually wrote a column in the Stanford Daily detailing how he groped a woman when he was a teenager with, quote, with the Top Gun slogan ringing in my head, I slowly reached for her breast. After having my hand pushed away, once I reached my mark. That's from Senator Booker, Spartacus, now calling on Kavanaugh's vote to be delayed. What a hypocrite. His office called the story a right-wing attack. Those were his words. And next up, how could you ever forget the most notorious sexual predator inside the Democratic Party, Bill Clinton himself? Here's what just a few of Bill Clinton's accusers had to say about the former president. Watch this.
You described a scene where he was biting on your lip, and then when it was all over, he was leaving. Said, you better put some ice on that.
Yeah, and casually put on his sunglasses and walked out the door.
It was a terrible ordeal for me, and no woman should be subjected to it.
But
it was an assault.
He assaulted you.
Yes.
He touched, grabbed, fondled, and kissed you against your will.
Yes.
And it's an allegation that is not made by one woman, it's made by multiple
Many
women.
of us.
I said, well, I may need to be going or something. And next thing you know, he pulled down he sat down, pulled down his pants, his whole everything, and he was exposed. And I said, I'm not that kind of girl, and I need to be getting back to my desk.
You know what? She worked for Bill Clinton at the time. He dropped his pants, exposed himself, said, kiss it. Juanita Broderick was about rape. Juanita Broderick said this week, where's my FBI investigation? All of these same senators feigning moral outrage, they said nothing in the case of Bill Clinton. In fact, he was beloved by most of his colleagues, many that are still in the Senate, despite what is a long, long, long track record of exposing himself, an allegation of rape, groping, grabbing, fondling, touching, kissing against a woman's will on the worst day of her life. Feinstein, Schumer, Dickey Durbin, the rest of them, so many other Democrats, they enthusiastically support everything Clinton, even voted against his impeachment.
We believe survivors.
Are you listening?
We believe survivors? Really? Come on now. As we stated, what about Karen Monahan? Ellison's other accuser, Amy Alexander. What about Juanita Broderick? Yeah, they believe survivors who line up with their agenda. Is Soros behind this Maxine Waters juiced-up restaurant mess? It's ridiculous. Americans have waken up. Their Wizard of Oz media deception is over. It's like someone breaks into your house at night in the dark, you turn the lights on, and they carry on as if you weren't there with the lights still out. The gig is up. The incredible hypocrisy. Look, none of us are perfect. We're all hypocrites to some degree. But willfully practicing hypocrisy on such a grand scale will come back to bite you. By the way, what's going on with Asia Argento? Paying out $380,000 to Bennett. Not much, right? Yeah. Nothing to see here, folks. Move on.
He is the host of CRTV's Levin TV, the host of Life, Liberty, Levin, right here on the Fox News Channel. By the way, the #1 show on Sunday night by far. We call him the Great One, Mark Levin. Mark, I'm just going to throw it right to you. We've seen a lot over the years. I've been doing radio 30 years. I've been at the Fox News Channel since October 1996. It's never been this awful, and it's been bad a lot of times.
Are you listening?
A couple things here. First of all, notice there's no blue dress here. Out of these three accusers, There's not a single eyewitness. There's not a single corroborating witness. There's not a single shred of evidence. So that's what they have in common. No case, which is exactly why the Democrats believe that only the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Bill of Rights don't apply. Only the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Constitution doesn't apply. No due process, no presumption of innocence, because they have to make that case. Because you want to know why? I believe Brett Kavanaugh. I believe Brett Kavanaugh. The Democrats, their lawyers, their operatives, the Senate, their staffers, all scheming around in the shadows, they've come up with literally nothing tangible or concrete. The reason why they blow this off, that it's not a court of law, is because that's how totalitarians think. And so you have people who make accusations. This isn't about women's rights. It's not even about women. There are millions and millions of women out there, many of them watching your show. My wife, my mother, my daughter, my stepdaughter, my mother-in-law and so forth, who don't believe any of this. There's tens of millions of women who find this entire spectacle. It's not a hearing. It's a spectacle. It's a Roman Colosseum. They're throwing them to the lions. They find this disgusting. Liberals don't speak for women. Did Ted Kennedy speak for Mary Jo Kopechne? Did Bill Clinton speak for all the women that he sexually assaulted? I don't think so. Now, people keep saying Brett Kavanaugh had 6 FBI background investigations. How many background investigations did Ms. Ford have? 0. How about the other accusers? How many FBI background investigations did they have? 0. As a matter of fact, it's very interesting to me, all these left-wing Democrat lawyers who represent these accusers, they know where the Montgomery County Police Department is. They haven't walked a single one of their clients into that law enforcement office to file a complaint against Mr. Kavanaugh. They keep talking about the FBI. The jurisdiction is Montgomery County, Maryland, boys, and you know where it is. Why don't you go ahead and file your complaints there? And I'll tell you why. Because then the rule of law actually kicks in. And they don't want the rule of law to apply. And I'm starting to wonder about the Senate Judiciary Committee, Sean. They're either filled with perverts or totalitarians. It's one or the other. They are gleeful. They're exciting. They're salivated all over this. It is a disgusting spectacle. Now, a couple of other things I want to mention, which is this. Look at this latest example. This lady comes forward. Her ex-boyfriend comes forward, and Politico reports he doesn't believe a word that she says. Avenatti's back, the slip-and-fall porn lawyer. The Democrats embrace him. They embrace the argument. Ms. Ramirez didn't want to come forward. The Democrat staff go find her, try and drag her forward. No corroborating witnesses. Her memory suddenly is HD color clear, but she's not going to testify. Then we have Dr. Ford. I've never understood this Dr. Ford issue. She wanted to remain private, so where does she go? To the Washington Post. Now, here's the thing. I keep hearing all over television, of course. I want to hear what Dr. Ford has to say. Of course, she has a right to say. Well, of course. We all want to hear what Dr. Ford has to say. But Dr. Ford is an adult. She's a professor. She has a Ph.D. She's made an allegation against another human being. She needs to be cross-examined aggressively. She's not the bubble lady. She needs to be questioned. When somebody accuses somebody of a horrific crime, 36 years after the fact, said nothing to anybody else that we know of, at least there's no witness of any kind, the Ford people she mentioned say, no, that's not true. Ms. Ford needs to be questioned and thoroughly. And I want the American people to understand something. This entire process, from Bork to Clarence Thomas and all the rest up to now, has been hijacked by the radical left. Look at the Democrats on this committee. It's the most radical bunch imaginable. You've got Gillibrand. You've got Feinstein, Durbin, Kamala Harris, Booker, all from dark blue states, one-party states who are trying to appeal to the most radical crazies in their party. We need to stand up to this.
All right, Mark Levin, thank you. And could you imagine that 10 parties, boys lining up, drugging women, nobody ever said anything, and it happened more weekends? Unbelievable.
Like Charles Stanley says, we reap what we sow, more than we sow, and longer than we sow. I've said it before and I'll say it again. At this point, they're just creating more hashtag walkaway stories. Y'all keep it 100. God bless. Have a breakthrough day.
We believe survivors.
And to all of my visitors, and especially my subscribers, thank you.